Welcome to the Reconnection Club podcast, the show that helps parents heal troubled relationships with their adult sons and daughters. I'm your host, psychotherapist Tina Gilbertson. Each week, I'll offer you compassion, clarity, and personal development tips designed to help you reconnect, not only with your child, but with yourself. Now let's get started. During the estrangement from your adult child, have you ever said anything or done anything that you later regretted? Plenty of parents I talk with have said or done things on impulse that they wish they could take back. Whether it's a particular choice of words that they used, or something they might have said to their child's spouse, or just the fact that they texted or emailed their child from a place of fear, anger, or desperation. Parents sometimes act impulsively in response to estrangement, with negative consequences that may actually make things worse. Why does this happen, and what can you do about it? That's what I want to talk about today. As part of my continuing professional education, I took a 2-day training last year in trauma and how to treat it. And in that training, I learned about how to work with something called the threat response. You may have heard of this. The threat response is your body's response to danger. It's a physical stress reaction to a potential threat. Your muscles contract, your breathing becomes shallow. You're basically tensing to physically fight or flee from a threat. But very often in today's world, the threat isn't physical, it's mental. Your estranged adult child's behavior, even if they're many miles away from you, may induce this very same threat response inside you, in your body. You get a text, or maybe you fail to get a text from your child that either instantly or gradually puts you into this stressed out threat response state. And what's important about this state is what happens in your brain when you're in this tense physical condition. Your executive functioning, the part of your brain that's used for logic and reason and thoughtful planning, it's like the plug is pulled on that part of the brain and it just goes dark. So your behavior ends up coming from instinct rather than from considering alternatives and choosing the one that will potentially bring you closest to your goals. The threat response explains why you sometimes react instead of taking time to respond with intention. Your higher level brain function has gone offline and your survival and safety instincts have taken over. They're running the show. You can't help this. It's an automatic reaction in your body and, as a consequence, in your brain. So when something triggers your fear and you go into the threat response state, you will do things impulsively to try to protect yourself. For example, maybe your child sends you an angry email with all sorts of accusations, or a goodbye letter suggesting she never wants to see you again. Your body tenses up as you read the letter and stays tense while you fire off an email back, defending yourself or trying to convince your child that she shouldn't reject you. Impulsive acts like this usually fail to improve the relationship, and in fact, it only gets worse because you're now in conflict with your child, who believes you have no desire to understand them. And you end up regretting not taking more time in crafting a thoughtful and balanced and calm response. But you couldn't because you were in this fight or flight mode. You can't think about your child's point of view when you're defending yourself. You can't remain calm and open when you feel like you're under attack or being abandoned. Your body just reacts, and it takes your brain along with it. So if this response is physiological and automatic, what are you supposed to do about it? How can you keep from acting impulsively during this estrangement from your child and doing things that you later regret? Well, fortunately, there is a way to overcome nature in this case. Remember that the threat response takes over the body first, tensing your muscles and affecting your breathing. And it's that physical tension that tells your brain to shut down non-essential projects, like thinking about your taxes or applying emotional intelligence to a relational problem. The threat response wants your brain to focus only on self-preservation. Now, you can't talk yourself out of this state, but you can feel your way out of it. You can take conscious control of your muscles. You can take conscious control of your breathing. And you can intentionally return these to a calm, relaxed state just by deciding to do that. So when you're feeling threatened by something about your child's behavior, and it seems like you need to take action right away, the first thing to do is go limp. Go physically limp. Turn yourself into a wet noodle. Just relax your muscles. There's no need to do anything fancy. You don't have to use a mantra or affirmations to get this done. You don't even have to use special breathing to get this done. Just let your muscles go. You can do it instantaneously using any muscle relaxation technique that you know or you can find on the internet. My favorite is the wet noodle. Just go limp. If it's hard for you to tell how relaxed or tense your muscles are at any given moment, try progressive muscle relaxation to get a feel for the difference between tense muscles and relaxed muscles. I'll put a link to a page about progressive muscle relaxation in the show notes, but basically you scrunch up a part of your body, making it as tight and as tense as it can be, and then you stop doing that and you let it go. And this teaches your body, by giving you immediate feedback, what it feels like when your muscles are relaxed. Once you're familiar with that difference, you really should be able to relax your muscles on cue just by deciding to do that. To calm your body and your brain, you also do need to be able to slow your breathing and make sure it's deep rather than shallow. Try this. Place your hands either behind your head or behind your back. This opens up your front and makes it easier to breathe deeply so that your abdomen expands with each inhale. Practice pulling your breath deep down into your belly and expelling each breath fully before taking the next one. I'll put a link to something that describes this kind of breathing in the show notes in case you'd like some more help with this, but don't wait until you need this before you practice. Treat it like a fire drill and get good at it ahead of time. With relaxed muscles and full breaths, your body will become more calm and less stressed. And in turn, this will bring your executive functioning back online so that you can think about what you want to do next, if anything. It's impossible to be stressed or even distressed in a completely relaxed body. So use this relaxation response frequently to reduce stress in general, as well as to keep your higher functioning online in everything you do. Please do try this at home. And if you're a Reconnection Club member, post in the forums and let us know how this works for you. In general, whenever you're thinking of sending a message of any kind to an estranged adult child, and you're wondering whether to send it and how it will go over, ask yourself one question. Whom does this serve? Whom does your message serve? If the answer is, it serves my child, then it's probably safe to send. But if you can't say with certainty that it serves your child, not in a theoretical way, but in a very practical and obvious way, then hang on to what you've written for at least 24 hours and look at it again after you've gotten some sleep. Assuming you're a member, you can also post your proposed message in our private forums inside the Reconnection Club and get feedback from me and or other parents before you send it. To sum up, impulsive behavior tends to be driven by the body, which gets tense at the threat of danger and shuts down the executive functions of the brain. When you get into that state, and we all do from time to time, you're at risk of taking actions that you'll later regret. So as soon as you notice that your body is tense and your breathing is shallow, physically relax and concentrate on deepening your breath. This will bring your brain's higher functions back online and protect you against impulsive behavior. If you're listening to this episode on the day it's scheduled to come out, please remember that my new book comes out tomorrow. It's called Reconnecting with Your Estranged Adult Child, and it's available everywhere as of April 28th, 2020. Until next time, remember that you are a loving, lovable, and still growing human being. So please take good care of yourself. Bye for now. If you've enjoyed this episode of the Reconnection Club podcast, I invite you to check out reconnectionclub.com. The Reconnection Club is for parents at any stage of estrangement from their adult, child, or children. So whether you've just realized there's trouble between you, you've been living with estrangement for years, or you're newly reconciled but still walking on eggshells, the Reconnection Club is your essential resource for information, support, and continued personal growth. With our courses and workshops, expert interviews, monthly Q&A calls, and a friendly, active community, the Reconnection Club is a wonderful place to be for anyone suffering the pain of estrangement from an adult, child, or children. So check it out at reconnectionclub.com.